That bottle of extra virgin olive oil on your counter might not earn that label the way you think it does. Extra virgin sounds like a promise, but it is a legal grade, and bottles on UK shelves carry that grade without proving where the olives came from. A £13 bottle and a £3 bottle can carry the same gap. Today I am pulling 8 bottles off the shelf and turning them around, then showing 4 that back the label up. The worst one is not the cheapest bottle, it is one of the country's most trusted names. Quick standard before we start, because this word gets thrown around like it means nothing. Extra virgin means cold pressed, no chemicals, and it passed a real taste panel on top of a chemistry check. Every bottle on this list technically clears that bar. The real test is a second layer most shoppers never hear about, PDO protected Designation of Origin, meaning the oil is locked to one region, checked, and traceable back to the actual ground it grew on. There is also PGI, a looser cousin of that same idea. A bottle can legally say extra virgin with zero traceability behind it, no audit trail, no region locked in, just a brand name doing the convincing. Watch for that gap as we go. The most trusted name on this list isn't near the bottom, by the way. It's coming, and it's going to surprise you. Number 8, La Espanola Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This one sits quietly at Ocado, Sainsbury's and Waitrose, the bottle you grab without thinking, because you've grabbed it 100 times, barely reading the label anymore. Turn it around. And here is the problem. There is no PDO, no PGI. The label just says Spain. That is a country, must see, not an audited region, and there is a real difference. You are trusting the brand to vouch for its own origin, and nobody outside the company is independently checking that before it hits the shelf. That is not a guarantee. That is a good guess. Wearing a nice label, that is the baseline problem. The next one does not even commit to one main country. Number 7, Terra Delyssa Tunisian Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Tunisian sounds specific, almost exotic, more honest than some vague European blend hiding behind a generic label. But specific sounding isn't the same as certified. No PDO, no PGI here either. Worth knowing about the wider industry this bottle sits inside of. Tunisia is one of the largest bulk olive oil exporters on Earth, and reporting has long noted that big exporting nations like this often supply oil that ends up quietly blended into other countries' bottles further down the chain. That's not a claim about this exact bottle being blended with anything, it's a pattern worth checking yourself before you assume either way. Naming a country isn't the same as a certified, audited estate standing behind it. The label tells you where it's from, it doesn't tell you who actually checked. Number 6, Asda Exceptional Spanish Picual Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Exceptional is doing a lot of heavy lifting on that label, sounds like a grade A panel of experts awarded after careful tasting. It's not, it's a brand name Asda picked for its premium tier. Full stop. No protected designation of origin, no protected geographical indication behind it. You're reading the adjective printed on the front, nobody's reading the paperwork, mostly because there isn't much of it to read. Exceptional is a marketing word, not a quality grade, and it shouldn't be mistaken for one at the till. That one borrows the language of quality. The next one borrows the whole language of prestige. Number 5, Tesco Finest Greek Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Finest is Tesco's top shelf the range shoppers reach for specifically because they're willing to pay more for something better. Here's where the front works a lot harder than the back. Greek origin named sounds reassuring next to vaguer labels, but no PDO or PGI. Lock-in anywhere on the bottle. You are paying a premium tier price for what is, on paper, a standard tier trail. Nothing wrong with how it tastes drizzled over dinner. That was never the issue. The issue is Finest is selling verification. The label itself can't back up. That's a top-shelf price tag doing the convincing instead of the paperwork. A premium tier letdown, and the next one wears an even more reassuring name. Number 4, Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Greek Athenoelia Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Taste the difference is a promise before you even pick up the bottle off the shelf. This one names a single Greek variety, Athenoelia, genuine specificity. Most bottles skip entirely, and I want to be fair, that's more than a lot of these bottles bother giving you, but the certificate to back that promise up simply doesn't show up anywhere. No PDO, no PGI. Just a confident range name doing the reassuring instead of a third party doing the checking. You might genuinely taste something different when you pour this one. You can't verify one from this label alone standing in the aisle. If a range built entirely on the word difference can't show its paperwork, wait for a name. Trusted in this country for generations. Number 3, Filippo Berio 100% Italian extra virgin olive oil. One of the most recognizable names on UK shelves, full stop, decades of shelf presence, the kind of line that makes you stop scanning and just put it straight in the trolley. Here's what should genuinely unsettle you, and I'm not inventing this to scare you into watching longer. Filippo Berio's own UK boss has gone on record in trade press admitting quality across the wider olive oil industry has been slipping, with more oils showing flavour defects that technically shouldn't qualify as extra virgin at all anymore. I want to be precise about what that means. That's not a claim about this exact bottle failing a lab test right now. It's the industry's own biggest name warning that the standard shoppers assume is being met isn't always being met across the sector. On top of that industry-wide warning, this specific bottle also carries no PDO or PGI of its own to fall back on. When the industry's own leading name admits the standard is slipping, that's not a rumour, that's a warning label nobody bothered printing on the front. A famous name with a real admission sitting quietly behind it. The next one costs even more, and it still lacks the paperwork. Number 2, Good Phats Spanish extra virgin olive oil, the midpoint twist. This is the most expensive bottle in the whole comparison. Around £12.95 for 500 millilitres, more than double some of the bottles we've already covered. At that price you're paying for reassurance, the feeling nobody in their right mind charges that much for average olives. But that price tag isn't buying a certificate, and it never was. No PDO, no PGI, exactly the same as the cheapest bottle on this list, so somewhere between the cheapest bottle and the most expensive one, the actual paper trail doesn't improve at all. You paid premium brand money for supermarket brand proof, and that's genuinely uncomfortable to sit with once you notice it. Price isn't a stand-in for traceability. The most expensive disappointment on this whole list, the final one, isn't about price at all. It's about the name every household in this country trusts without a second thought. Number 1, Marks and Spencer Collection. Nocellara del Belice extra virgin olive oil. Collection is M&S's premium own label tier, the range built entirely on the retailer's reputation for quality control, the trust that gets earned aisle after aisle. To be fair, this bottle is genuinely more transparent than most here, naming a single olive variety and carrying real certification. But here's the twist that earns it the top spot on this whole countdown. It carries PGI, not PDO. Protected Geographical Indication, not protected Designation of Origin. A real public distinction, and PGI's own requirements are genuinely looser than PDO's stricter standard. The most trusted retailer on this list, the one shoppers are least likely to question standing at the shelf, handed you the second-tier seal while looking exactly like it should have given the strongest one available. PGI still means something real. It's just not the strictest guarantee out there, sitting on the bottle least likely to make you check twice. The trusted name gave you a quality seal, just not the strongest one out there for the price. Okay, 8 down, and if you've been following along, you've probably already spotted the pattern. It's not really about price or which supermarket you shop at. It's about one line of paperwork most shoppers never think to look for, hiding in plain sight on the back of every single one of these bottles. There's a way to check this before you buy, and it's not the fridge test, it's not the colour of the oil, and it's definitely not the fancy adjective printed across the front. It's 2 letters, PDO, sitting quietly on the label when a brand actually earned it. Here are 4 bottles on these exact same shelves that did. Buy one Aldi specially selected Terra Delyssa Castel del Monte extra virgin olive oil, around £5.59. Remember Asda's exceptional and Tesco's finest, premium names with nothing behind them once you checked. Opposite problem here in the best way. Cheapest bottle in this whole investigation, and it carries full PDO, locked to the Castel del Monte region in Italy, checked and audited. You're not paying extra for a feeling or a nice sounding word. The cheapest bottle just out proved brands charging twice as much for the exact same promise. Buy two Belazou Crete Gold extra virgin olive oil, around £10. Same shelves, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Ocado, as bottles further up this list that had nothing but a confident range name standing behind them. This one is genuinely different. Full PDO, locked to Crete. Single region Cretan olives, a real audit trail behind the glass instead of just a nice story. Same shelf as a bottle you should skip. Completely different story once you turn this one around. Buy three Gaia Kalamata extra virgin olive oil, around £12. Nearly the same price as good Phats, the priciest bottle we flagged earlier, the one charging premium money for a standard tier trail. Gaia does not make that same mistake. Full PDO, tied directly to the Kalamata region in Greece. Here, finally, the price and the actual proof line up. You're not just trusting a number on the shelf tag anymore. This is what that £12.95 bottle should have been all along. Buy four Waitrose No. 1 Valley Trapanese extra virgin olive oil, around £13, the most expensive bottle in this entire investigation. Avoid list included, sitting right where M and S collection only managed a PGI. Further up this countdown, Waitrose's top tier doesn't stop at that second tier seal. Full PDO, locked to Valley Trapanese, the strictest guarantee available anywhere in this whole category. A premium retailer can back up its premium tier with the strongest seal on the market when it actually chooses to. This is what trust the name looks like once the name has genuinely earned it. 8 bottles lean on a country name, a flattering adjective, or decades of brand loyalty to do the convincing while the actual paper trail behind the label stays thin. 4 bottles at 4 completely different price points prove the real guarantee is available if you know exactly what to look for, and it has almost nothing to do with how much you're willing to spend at the till. This isn't just an olive oil problem either. The same trick, a reassuring range name standing in for real certification, shows up on honey, on parmesan, on balsamic vinegar, on pretty much anything, where the word region is supposed to mean something specific. Once you learn to check for the seal instead of the adjective, you start seeing this exact same gap almost everywhere you shop. The front label sells you the story you want to believe. The back label, and 2 small letters most people never learn to look for, tell you what you're actually paying for. Next time you're stood in that aisle, turn the bottle around before the name on the front makes the decision for you.